Hello! Today we are going to be talking about coterminal angles. Coterminal angles are any two angles in the unit circle that share a terminal side. This is similar to how the minute hand on the clock is in the same position 20 minutes after the hour at different hours. It's just a different number of rotations around the clock. In other words, the minute hand is in the same position at 3:20 as it is at 4:20. Ha! Yes, topical humor. Let us continue. Okay, so let us find two coterminal angles to each of our provided angles. When we have degrees, any coterminal angle is going to be within 360 degrees of our provided angle, or within 360 degrees of any coterminal angles that we find. So, when we start with this, we are going to add 360 and minus 360, but you may add twice or subtract twice. Either way, what we are going to get is 650 degrees and negative 70 degrees. This is going to be very similar for radians. Instead of adding and subtracting 360 degrees, I'm going to add and subtract 2 pi, because any coterminal angles are going to be within 2 pi of our angle. So when I add it, I'm going to get 11 pi over 3. And when I subtract, I'm going to get negative pi over 3. Okay, nothing to cry about, huh? Let us now determine whether two angles are coterminal. The easiest thing we can do here is take our smaller angle and add 360 or 2 pi until we either reach or exceed our other angle. If we go too far, that means they are not coterminal. But if they end up equaling each other after we add 360 any number of times, they are indeed coterminal. So when I add 360 one time, I'm going to get 920 degrees. That is still before my 1280. So in order to determine whether or not these are coterminal, I have to add 360 again. And when I do that, I'm going to get my 1280. So I've added 360 to 560 two times and gotten to my other angle. That means that they are indeed coterminal. For our next example, we are going to be working in radians. So start with your small angle again and add 2 pi this time because we are working in radians. When I do this once, I am going to get 13 pi over 6. This is still too small compared to 7 pi over 3, so I need to add 2 pi again. So you take your 13 pi over 6, add 2 pi, and then you are going to get 25 pi over 6. Now this does not equal 7 pi over 3, and it is too big. So that means that these are not coterminal angles. And that, my friends, is how we deal with coterminal angles. Now, if you understand the concepts well enough, but you are still struggling with your fractions work, I invite you to watch the education video on adding and subtracting fractions. I might also recommend to you that you treat pi more like a unit than a number, something like feet or miles or hours. This way you can focus more on the numbers and not so much the pi, which can get very confusing, yeah? Well, I think with that I am going to take my leave. Thank you very much for coming, and we will see you next time.